Welcome to our very first Cobblemon 100 Days Challenge. In this video, we will be aiming to conquer Cobblemon Islands and become a Pokemon champion. We will be creating the best Pokemon teams to beat all 7 of our custom gyms, a little bit of fishing, fighting wild Pokemon, fishing some more, working with the server to take on massive raids, more fishing, competing in various server events, fishing, and finally taking on the current Pokemon champion. Did I mention there might be a little bit of fishing? So on this journey, we will have a main goal, which is to defeat all the gyms and take on the champion. I've also added a couple side goals for us. I want to catch a shiny Pokemon, and I want to catch a legendary Pokemon. There's a couple ways we could do this, but we'll touch on that later in the video. So, before we hop into the journey, I just want to thank Cobblemon Islands for sponsoring this video. Honestly, guys, this is the best Cobblemon server I've played on. The community is amazing. There's so much to do. There's always a bunch of events going on that will just keep you busy. I do play on this server in my spare time, and I would highly recommend it to all of you. So, thank you, Cobblemon Islands, and let's jump into it. And so our journey begins. Now, just like any other Pokemon game, we have a starter. Normally you get to choose from the standard starters, but I wanted something a little different on this adventure. So we're going to be starting out with a Pichu. And this little guy is going to stick with us for the entire journey. As a little added challenge, he must be on our team for all the gyms and the final battle. So, to help us out on the journey, we have been given a Poke Kit full of goodies. You can claim these every few days. We'll be using it just the once, however. But it did include some rare candies. And with Pikachu being level 5 and other Pokemon in the area being a bit higher, I decided I would level him up to level 10. This is the only time in the playthrough that I'll be using rare candies. I kind of like the Pokemon grind. I don't want to make it too easy on us. So, with Pichu by my side, it was time to have a battle. And with that, Pichu earns his very first victory. We decided to follow the beach around and came across a Wingull. Easy work for Pichu. And in the distance, we noticed a rundown Poke Center. From my time playing this, I knew that there'll be some goodies hidden inside. So as we were searching about, we found a couple nice stuff, but nothing too OP. We left the Pokemon Center and then ran into a Krabby. Now, I'm an older Pokemon player. I started playing the games way back with Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red. So Gen 1 holds a dear place in my heart, and I kind of love Krabby, so I knew I needed to catch him. A little Thunder Shock to weaken him, and then we throw the Pokeball. And there we go, boys. We caught our very first Pokemon. Now, with these two guys on my team, I thought it would be best that we find a place to call home. I didn't really like the biome we were in, so I used the random teleport command, which you guessed it, randomly teleports you somewhere else on the map. We landed in what seemed to be some sort of savannah. We had a little walk around and we came across this little fledgling. Now, I absolutely love this guy. He is my favorite bird Pokemon. And if we catch him, that would be an electric, water, and fire type, which is a nice balance to start with. We throw out Pichu, but he gets hit hard. So now it's our newly caught Krabby's time to shine. One hit to weaken it, and then we throw out our ball. And we have a fledgling, boys! With that, though, the team was looking a little bit weak, so we had to teleport back to the main hub and find a spot to heal them. Once we do get a home, we will be able to heal our team whenever we want, but for now, we have to use the main hub. With the team fully healed, it was time to head back. We knocked about for a little bit. We fought a few Pokemon before coming across a Pokéden. Now, at the time of recording this, the Pokédens have legit just been added to the server, so I was a little curious on what was on the inside. Yeah, that's probably not ready for us right now. Something we'll probably have to take on a little bit later in the challenge. But anyways, with the sun setting, it was time to create a little home area. So we did some area clearing, made sure it was nice and flat, and then we claimed some of the land. This just means that no one can interact with this area unless you give them permission. You don't want people going through all your stuff and taking things. But with the little area set up, it's now time to place a healing station and a PC, as well as some storage. I wasn't planning on actually building a home, but later on in the video, you'll see how that all changes. So before we do go any further, real quick, if you do enjoy this 100 days challenge, do me a huge favor, like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. It took us a lot of time to record and edit all this, and if we do get enough interest, we will 100% be doing another one of these at some point. But anyways, day 2 started off with us finding a little Drillbur trapped in a cave surrounded by lava. He looked like he needed a hand, and to be fair, Drillbur does become a beast when it evolves, so it seems like a win-win for us both. So we made a little pathway to stop the lava and sent out Krabby to scare him before instantly throwing a quick ball. These only work on the first turn of a Pokemon battle, but just like that, we now have a Drillbur on our team. Now, there is something I did forget to do on day one, and we need to give nicknames to all of the Pokemon that are on our team. So, Pichu becomes Sparky, Krabby becomes Crabboy, Fletchin becomes Fireflame, and Drillbur becomes Bob. So now we have a home setup and the team growing. We need to think about the first Pokemon gym. So the way this all works is my wife has built a giant battle tower. Each floor of the tower has a typing and a level cap. For example, floor 1 is a bug typing and the gym level cap is 25. The level cap doesn't apply to me, but I want to keep it as close as possible to keep it more of a challenge. Each gym only has 4 Pokemon. We can obviously use 6. Once I defeat the floor, I can move on to the next floor, and so on until I climb all the way to the top and face the champion. So anyways, with that explained, it's time to think about the team we want to take on the bugs. Fire, Flying, and Rock is what I'm going to be aiming for. We already have Fireflame, which is huge, but we definitely need more Pokemon. So we set out to explore the lands around us. After exploring and fighting, I actually got informed I'd been given a media rank on the server, which is freaking awesome, by the way. With this, I actually do gain a new kit that I can claim once every week. Again, though, I will only be doing this once in this challenge, but I just wanted to check it out. And oh my god, it's filled with a lot. The proteins and vitamins I don't actually fully understand in Pokemon. I've never really been big into all that stuff. I play the games only just because they're fun and I like Pokemon. But I checked out Sparky's stats and thought, well, if he's going to be with us throughout this, maybe I should make him stronger if that's how this works. So I just fed him pills. I wanted the speed and special attack to like increase, and I thought feeding these would maybe do that. It has something to do with the EVs, but I don't really know what I did. I'm sure that you lot can let me know what I'm doing wrong or right here, and maybe next time we'll understand it a bit better. But anyways, after that, we head out into the night and just battled a bunch of Pokemon to gain some XP, and that's when I had an idea. If I want fire Pokemon, then maybe there's a warp somewhere with fire, lava. So a warp, for those of you who don't know, is pretty much a teleport that someone has created. This can be linked to towns, it can be shops, or just somewhere interesting. So we had a look through, and I found a place called Volcano, so we decided to warp there and check it out. Things get a little confusing here, though. There are 3 realms on the server, and each has a different time zone. So when I do warp here, it kind of becomes day. The way I kept track of doing this for the 100 days with the actual time is around every day is 20 to 28 minutes. Just so we could get the full 100 days no matter what like day it is on each realm and all that good stuff. But anyways, we arrived at the volcano and it was not really what I was looking for. Someone had built this big giant structure. And I kind of just wanted fire Pokemon. I decided to take a look around just in case there were some hidden close by. After searching around for a little while, we did come across a Magby. Again, another Pokemon that I really like. Magmar, the dude that he evolves into, is in my top 5 favorite Pokemon ever. So with the help from Krabby and Bob, we were able to capture him. And now he was part of the team, we had to give him a nickname, Lava Duck. The team was really coming together. I love that you can just throw out your team and just kind of chill and vibe with them. But after playing with the team, it was time to get back to business. We headed out again, but this time I built a boat. I wanted to sail out on the islands and see if there was anything spicy around us. Not too far from home was a pretty big lakeside town, complete with a dock. I decided to have like a quick look around the place, but then I thought I'd just let them live in peace. As I was sailing, I did notice a Chimchar appear on the minimap. Another fire type. Now, some of you are going to hate me, but I actually don't like Chimchar that much. He, in my opinion, is one of the worst looking fire starters, but he looks cool on Cobblemon, and I need fire Pokemon. So I sent out Sparky, and we managed to capture a Chimchar. Just up from where we caught him, there was actually a Cobblemon town. Like the Pokemon centers, these are filled with all sorts of goodies. So it was time to do a loot raid on the village. Things were going well until I fell off a rooftop and splattered on the ground. Lucky for us, we don't lose our inventory. I actually managed to find the town again. It was actually just up the hill from where we set up our base. So we decided to loot raid it some more, as well as fight a couple of the Pokemon. As the day drew to a close, I made us a fishing rod. Like I said in the intro, there would be be fishing. A lot of fishing. Why, you may ask? Well, there is a very, 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 very small chance that you can fish up a legendary Pokemon this way. When I say small chance, I mean 0.08% chance. I want to defy their mods and catch a legendary this way. Before we do that, though, we do need to be a level 100 in fishing. So no better time to start than the present, or no better time to start now before the past. I don't know. Whatever that saying is, that's what we're doing. Day 4 was purely a training day. We started with a bit of fishing, then randomly teleported and just battled everything that we could see. Eventually, Fire Flame was high enough level to evolve. And not long after that, Chimchar, who we named Burn, was also able to evolve. Today, I came to the conclusion that Bob might not be cut out for this team. I was really struggling to gain XP with him. He just didn't have the strength needed to defeat any of these Pokemon. So with that in mind, we decided to head out and look for a replacement. And we did come across this really cool looking cave. What's inside? Treasure? Super rare Pokemon? I guess we'll never know. Forgetting about the embarrassing fall, we pressed on in search of Bob's replacement when we stumbled upon a Fearow. Now, this isn't something I would normally use in Pokemon, but the beauty of this challenge is that I'm going to be using a lot of Pokemon that I would never normally use. So, with Fearow being a decent level, as well as a flying type, which remember is good against bugs, we set up and we tried to catch it. And easy as that, we now have Plucky on our team. We've switched from Bob to Plucky. I felt that our team was looking good to take on the bug-type gym. The gym Pokemon were going to be level capped at 25, so now we needed to just train up the team and get ready to take them on. The training grind right now was feeling a little bit long, and that's when I remembered about XP shares. Now, some people don't like to use these, but I felt like it could help us a little bit without being like too OP. For those of you that don't know, a Pokemon wearing the XP share will gain a little bit of XP even if it doesn't get involved in the fight. So I decided to pay the server's marketplace a visit. The place is full of goodies that players are selling. Players can own their own shop and kind of just sell whatever they want. Evolution stones, rare candies, Pokeballs, plushies, anything that's going to really make them money. So I thought there's got to be an XP share somewhere. After spending nearly a whole day in the stores, I found nothing. Seems this item is a lot rarer than I first thought. As we were trekking about, we ran into a Psyduck. Now, this Pokemon, it's just great. I love me a good Psyduck. There's not a thought going on in that little braid he has. He looks awesome in Cobblemon form as well, so I just had to catch him. We might never use him, but I needed him. Anyways, we returned home and I decided to do some more fishing. I should have mentioned, but fishing is actually really good for leveling Sparky. And it's also a great way to make money. You get coins from defeating the Pokemon, as well as coins from actually selling the fish that you catch when you get a Pokemon. We kept going for a little bit and then we fished up a Crawdon. This guy is beefy. He puts up a good fight, but we do manage to defeat him in the end. We then teleport to a beach, which is filled with water Pokemon, and this is easy prey for Sparky. There's also a forest next to us filled with grass and bug Pokemon, so XP grinding here was a breeze. And then we just end the day with me and Sparky chilling on the beach, looking at a flock of whales chilling in the ocean. Day 8, nothing really happens. We stay close to the base, just grinding a few levels. I was more focused on watching the server's community goals. What's the server community goal? I heard someone shout out in the back. Well, Mr. Sir, I can explain. Cobblemon Islands have custom skins for your characters and Pokemon, as well as plushies, decor, and weapons, and just a bunch of really cool shit. You can get a lot of these for free, but you can also buy keys that open these special crates. Each purchase fills up the community bar, and once that reaches 100%, everyone on the server gets a handful of keys for free. It's kind of a big deal, so you don't really want to miss out on these. Now, the way it works on here is you need to be in the main hub or the spawn point to guarantee you get these keys. So we were just out there grinding, but we were constantly just kind of like checking the website. We had to wait a whole day for the community goal to hit, but it finally did, and the main hub was popping. Everyone got their keys. Oh man, it was just so cool seeing so many people hanging out and just kind of having fun and vibing. Anyways, with 100 people getting them keys, I had to rush over to the crate and open it before it just got surrounded. We opened it and got a Umbreon Catwoman hat. At the time of recording this, there was a heroes versus villains theme going on, a lot of Marvel and DC inspired skins, and this was cool and all, but the Halloween event was about to begin, and boy am I excited for that. But anyways, back to the training, and we were now ready to take on our first gym. Using the command warp AMBT, we were teleported to the battle tower, and this was our very first look at the building. Now, before we do get into this battle, I just want to say a massive thank you to my lovely wife. She built this tower and made it look amazing. All the decorations, lighting, everything is just awesome. She'd be up until the middle of the night making sure this thing was ready for the videos, for the recording. So just massive thank you to her. Claps in chat, all that good stuff. But now it's time for our first gym battle. So we enter the bug room, and that's where we find Wolf waiting for us. We started with Butterfree versus Magby, and I was confident here. A flame wheel should do massive damage. That was until he switched out to this stupid water bug. I knew this kind of would happen. That's why we didn't go for a full team of fire. But to happen so soon, it just wasn't good for us. We switched out to Plucky, but this dumb bug one-shotted me. Being part water, I thought we could try using Sparky. Even though he is still a baby, I thought the electric type would help us. To be fair, Sparky did do good damage, but just wasn't strong enough. I didn't have much choice here but to send out Krabby. Lucky for us, Sparky did leave the bug paralyzed, and Krabby managed to win. Next up was the return of Butterfree, which of course knew Electro Web, which one-shotted our poor Krabby. I made the mistake of sending out Fire Flame, who is also weak to electric. He did manage to tank one hit though, and I tried to take Butterfree out with a quick attack, but it just wasn't strong enough. Butterfree used Bug Buzz, and Fire Flame was still in it. Another quick attack, and Butterfree was down. And then this dude sent out Kleavor, a rock bug Pokemon. And you know what's strong against fire? Rock. Flame Charge barely even left a den, and one Stone Axe attack and Fire Flame was down. Next up was Burn, who did decent damage to be fair, but once again, Stone Axe was just too much for us. It's now down to Magby, who remember is still a baby Pokemon, so stat-wise, yeah, this was just a huge mismatch. And just like that, it was over. Our first gym battle ends in defeat. But it's not the end of the world. As we now know what type of Pokemons that you have, we just know we need something a little bit stronger. So, we headed home and began the grind again. We need our team to be stronger or we just won't stand a chance. We battled throughout the night, and that's when we ran into a Pyroar. Now, it was a very high level, but it's perfect. Some of you might say it's too strong for the gym, but you know, I have 2 baby Pokemon on my team. I feel like this guy maybe balances everything out right. Anyways, it took us a hot minute and we did manage to catch this bad boy. Before we revisited the gym, I thought I would have one more day of just getting my shit together. I headed back to the marketplace. I just wanted to see if there was any goodies there I could use, items my Pokemon could hold, just anything that would help give me an advantage. Not seeing too much that took my fancy, I decided to do a quick XP grind and just make sure I was ready for this rematch. Now it's time to head back to the battle tower. This time I'm filled with a little more confident. The battle starts the same way, Butterfree versus Lavaduck, and the same follows. He switches out to the water bug, and this is where I use my secret weapon. This is where I was dumb. For some reason during this fight, I thought his water bug was an electric bug. Don't know why, I was just big dumb in the moment. Anyway, my secret weapon is now no more. Next up though is Plucky, and it does one-shot the bug. Butterfree is next, and I'm smart and I switch out to Lavaduck. He hits me with the electric web and then withstands another attack. We hit him with Flame Burst and almost get the job done. This is the one and only time I use an item in battle. The gym leaders aren't meant to use items, but no one said anything about me not using one. We used a Max Revive on Pyroar. Now, looking back on it, I kind of wish I didn't. I feel like we could have been more smart about the whole thing, but it's in the past right now. And anyways, Lavaduck is defeated, and out comes Burn. A quick Flame Wheel, and Butterfree is toast. Now, the dreaded Kleavor. Burn throws a couple Mach Punches, but barely leaves the den. He does manage to survive the Stone Axe attack. One more punch, and then Burn is down. Pyroar returns. We get hit with an X-Scissor and we attack with Echoed Voice. We follow that up with a Hyper Beam. I had no idea that he even knew that move. Finally, Kleavor is defeated. After using Hyper Beam though, we do need to recharge the next round. We do a Fire Fang that almost kills Heracross, but it hangs in there and it eventually stops at Pyroar. Fire Flame is the last one out to finish off Heracross. And with that, the first gym is defeated. Was that how I wanted to win? No. But to be fair, even the Pyroar, being over-leveled and being revived, still got killed twice, which just shows how good of a trainer Wolf actually was. As a reward, Wolf gave us 3 brand new Halloween keys for the Halloween event that just started today. With the keys in hand and our first victory, we went to the main hub because the community goal was about to be hit again. Just a quick note, we will be opening the new crates later in the video. The main hub area was so busy as it was the launch of the new event. But anyways, back to the challenge. Gym 2 was a rock and ground type. Level cap 30. The first 2 gyms were very close in terms of levels, so this meant we needed to get started on our new team ASAP. Water and grass is what I'm going to be looking for. So we grabbed a boat and we head into the ocean. We found a Staryu, and I do like me a Starmie, and it was a water Pokemon. A little later, we came across a Gyarados. It was level 40, which is very high for where we were. So I said to myself, I'll throw a quick ball at it first time. If it catches it, we keep it. If not, we find someone else. After a few shakes of the ball, boom, we have a Gyarados. He is going to be our backup plan just in case the gym doesn't really go well for us. But now it's time to find us a grass Pokemon just in case the gym has something that can counter water. So we headed to the nearby islands, and that's when Sparky's friendship hit high enough level to want to evolve. Our Pichu is now Pikachu. Sparky will be a lot more useful now as its stats will also have been increased. We continued searching the nearby islands when we came across another Pokecenter. Just as I was about to head home, we ran into a Phantom. Not the grass Pokemon I had in mind, but Grass and Ghost is a crazy typing, and this little guy is adorable. We had to have him on our team. And then just as the sun rose, we caught ourselves a little ghosty tree guy. We head home and switch Plucky out for our new guy and give him the name Ghosty. It was time to put Ghosty to the test and see what it was made of. Being a ghost means there are a bunch of moves that just don't affect him, which is going to be super helpful. Also, it being a grass type means it can learn moves that damage an opponent and also heal itself. Also, Ghosty was another example of the Cobblemon design just working really well. The design on him was just so freaking cute. Anyways, we continued to level up our team when Krabby gained enough XP to evolve. Shortly after, we traveled to the marketplace once again, but this time we were after a Water Stone for Star. You can find these in the wild, but when we were out shopping for an XP share, I remember seeing a shop with stones for sale. It took me a hot minute, but we found it and evolved Staryu into Starmie. And with all that, I felt we were ready for the ground gym. We made sure our team's moves were all sorted and teleported over to the tower. The second floor was designed to look like a cave, and I have to say, it looked fire. This might be one of my top 3 favorite gym floors in this playthrough. After taking a look at the gym's design, we approached Yuma for our battle. They sent out Mudsdale, and we sent out Crabboy. Mudsdale is known to have a lot of strength, so I was a little worried here. We used a Bubble Beam and did a good amount of damage. Mudsdale used Iron Defense to increase its defense, another Bubble Beam, and Mudsdale was down to low health. They used a Mud Slap, but it wasn't too effective. I tried to finish it off with a Vice Grip, but Crabboy missed. Lucky for us, Rock Smash didn't do too much damage. We got off one more Bubble Beam, and that was the end of Mudsdale. Next up was Pupitar, a high defense Pokemon. I decided to go for a Crab Arm attack, and it crit hit Pupitar, knocking it out in one shot. Graveler was next, and this is the type of Pokemon I expected to see at this type of gym. Crabboy used Bubble Beam, and would have one-shotted Graveler, but he had the Sturdy ability, which prevents any one-shots to him. Graveler used Rock Blast, and it hit us 3 times in a row, almost killing us. We went to use a Water Gun to finish off Graveler, but it missed, which gave Graveler the chance to use Magnitude, and that was Crabboy done for. Now it was Ghosty's turn. We used a quick Branch Poke, and of course, it was an easy knockout. Yuma's last Pokemon was Klawf? I don't know how to actually pronounce this one. I actually completely forgot this dude even exists, so I was shocked to even see this thing. Klawf used Vice Grip, and lucky for us, it had no effect on Ghosty's Ghost typing. Branch Poke didn't do too much damage, but it was an okay amount. We got hit with a Rock Tomb that did about half damage to us. but then we used Horn Leech, which not only was it super effective, but it also healed us. We get hit with a Rock Blast, and they got lucky with the 4 hits, and Ghosty was defeated. It was now Star's time to shine. A quick Bubble Beam, and the fight was all over. We had won our second gym, and as a reward, we got a satchel, which meant we could hold a bunch of extra stuff. This actually comes in handy for the rest of this playthrough. We arrived back home and immediately started planning on our next gym, Water and Ice. This one would be tricky. That was until we ran into a level 41 Tauros. And for some reason, I just felt like, yeah, he's going to be perfect for that fight. They're pretty tanky, and once again, another Pokemon I don't think I would ever use. He put up one hell of a fight, but we managed to wear him down and eventually catch him. Just as the sun was setting, a Luxray appeared. This was the most perfect Pokemon at the perfect level at the perfect time. We could not pass up this opportunity. So between Gyarados and Sparky, we managed to weaken it and ended up catching it pretty easily. We gave names to our new members, Dark Soul and Beefcake. We continued searching around, seeing if any other Pokemon took our fancy when our first server event happened. These are fun mini games hosted by the admins, and you can win a bunch of stuff. So of course we had to take part. The event we were taking part in was a PvP team deathmatch, blue team versus red team, with the winning team going on to a next round of events. We all got kitted out with armor, weapons, some food, and with a countdown, we were let loose. Not 100% sure what I was doing. I ran around and tried to keep close to my teammates. We were at a slight disadvantage as one of the team had crashed as soon as it started. The start actually didn't look too promising. They seemed to have circled a couple of our team, but we managed to hold on. We were given food to heal. The idea was to attack, run, heal, then jump back in to attack some more. There were a few sticky spots where we almost got killed, but we worked well as a team and started to pick them off one by one. And with that, one red team was left. We chased him down, and blue team gets the dub. With this win, it meant the whole blue team moved on to the next event. Now, this next event is all about luck. All we do is choose a color and a number. We chose purple and number 1. You have to stand in that box and watch as a color and number would appear on the screen. If yours got called, it would either be a fall or a choose. Fall means you fall to your death and get eliminated. Choose means you pick a number and color and get them eliminated. This one was so intense. Seeing all the colors and numbers appear, not knowing if you were going to be next or not. It was actually just fun, just hanging out with these guys. And we did have a good run. But it wasn't too long before our number got called. And it was a fall, which meant we were out. We stuck around to see who the winner was between Purple 5 and Red 1. And Red 1 was the winner. GG's to you. Day 15, and I decided I wanted an actual home to live in and not just some land. So I decided we were going to build a shelter. We did have a lot of money from defeating a lot of these wild Pokemon, so I used some of that to buy blocks from the Pokeshop. That way we could have a bit more of a fancier house and not just some weird wood shack. So it's nothing too crazy, but I think it will do for now. Just so you know, we will return and build and improve over the 100 days. The final product is actually really sick. But once we got done with that, we head out to see if we could find some more Pokemon. We came across a Machop, and for some reason, I actually like this guy, so we decided to take a chance on him and capture him. Not too far away, we found a Skidoo, and I do have a little soft spot for this little goat dude. On one of the Pokemon games, I actually managed to catch 2 shiny ones within like the same week, completely by chance. And ever since then, I've just kind of liked this little dude. So I thought, why not? Let's have them join the team. We gave them both nicknames. We have Zelda and Dave, and they were actually both high enough level to evolve straight away. So Dave became a muscle man and Zelda became a stronger, bigger goat. Looking at our team, I was pretty happy with what we had. I felt we could conquer a water ice gym for sure. We just needed to train them a little bit more. So we set out that night to gain some XP. We were kicking butt when a Pyroar came and kicked my butt, and that was just very rude. On day 16, we spent the whole time fishing, trying to get that fishing level as high as possible. The battles were quick as well, due to most of the team being super effective against water. And as night fell, I did switch things up a little bit. I built the world's greatest dock. It just felt more natural to fish from the dock. Today, I wanted a little break from the fishing and the level grind, so I decided to upgrade our house with a brand new floor. I went with these purple brick style things, which I thought looked really neat. After we'd completed that, we teleported over to the hub with all its new Halloween decor. We bought ourselves a bunch of Halloween keys. The Halloween chest has a bunch of decor, paintings, armor, weapons, and even Pokemon skins. And I was hoping to get a bunch of stuff to make our house look a bit more spooky. So with keys in hand, we went to the hub. I won't show off everything we got, but we did manage to get some decent weapons, a couple nice paintings, a couple Pokemon token skins. We'll see more of them later in the video. We did, though, manage to get ourselves a Skeleton Charizard PS5, which, I don't know, man, it's so funny to me, but it looks really, really sick. We had a few plushie keys, which we got from the daily spins you get on the server, so I opened them as well. And we did manage to get a Bookless plush, which I do believe is another content creator who does videos on here. Maybe one day there'll be an X-Men plush, you know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Come on, devs, please. Anyway, we took all the goodies home and we decorated our house. After we finished with that, though, we did get a DM from someone called Antidote, and they were asking about the Bookless plush. I'm guessing it was somewhat rare. They offered to buy it from me, and this seemed to be a fair amount. So we met up with them, and we sold our plush. Gym number 3 was up next. We were actually just waiting for the gym leaders to get ready, so we spent the morning just fishing, grinding up some more of them fishing levels. Once the gym leader was ready, we headed on over to the battle tower for our third gym fight. We got to the floor and it was filled with waterfalls, sand, a couple fish pond, minus the fish. Apparently all the fish swam up the waterfalls and unalived themselves. With Tina ready, it was time for our showdown. The first battle was Beefcake versus Cloyster. We started with a Raging Bull attack. Cloyster used Toxic Spikes, which would now poison any of the Pokemon that I throw out. Another Raging Bull attack and Cloyster was hurt. They used Spike Cannon on Beefcake, but he was pretty unfazed. We switched it up with a Zen Headbutt and then got hit with a Aurora Beam. One more Raging Bull and Cloyster was toast. That's when they threw out Aurorus, a giant long-necked dinosaur Pokemon. I was not ready for that thing to appear. Almost shit myself, actually. We tried another Raging Bull, but it wasn't very effective. Aurorus used Meteor Beam, which raises attack power. One more Raging Bull from Beefcake just to drain some of that health. This time, Meteor Beam hits us and Beefcake faints. Next up is Dave. There's just something funny about seeing him look up at a dinosaur. I don't know, bro. Anyways, we used a low kick, which I'm sure does a lot of damage to heavier Pokemon. I always get mixed up with the kick moves. It was super effective, and down goes Aurorus. We did have a little visual bug here, but trust me, the dinosaur is gone and defeated. Alolan Ninetales is next, and some of you may know, but this is my top 3 favorite Pokemon. We get hit with an Ice Beam, and somehow we managed to hold on. We follow up with a Karate Chop, which didn't do as much damage as I hoped. Ninetales uses Extra Sensory, which takes out Dave. Now it's time for Dark Soul. We get hit with another Extra Sensory, but we follow up with a Thunderfang, and that is Ninetales defeated. Tina's last Pokemon is Lapras. We use Volt Switch, which does damage, then switches us out to another Pokemon. It was time for Ghosty. Ghosty was hit with Brine, but hung in there. Unfortunately, Ghosty was hit with an Ice Shard and fainted, but not to worry, Sparky will avenge this little guy. One Thunderbolt, and it was game over. We had won our third gym. Our reward for this gym? A shiny Magmar. One of my favorite Pokemon. That's awesome. Day 19 was kind of a different day. The server was hosting a full evening of server events back to back. Unfortunately, we had real life plans that day, so we couldn't attend all of the events, but me and my wife and a couple of the other patrons all took part in a handful of them. The first one was Hide and Seek. One of the admins had hidden himself around the main hub, and we had to go and find him. This really did show how big the main hub world actually is, filled with lots of nooks and crannies. We searched for a good 5 minutes before finally someone on the server found the dude. Next up was a snowball fight. The aim is to be the last one standing. Destroy the snow blocks to create holes for people to fall down, but also throw snowballs to knock them down them holes. Unfortunately, this one did not go well for me. Our whole team went out pretty quickly, but one remained. Pro still had a chance to win. He tried his best, he battled hard, but in the end, he just got peppered with snowballs. Next up, we returned to the Color Number event. This event did take a very long time, so I won't bore you too much with this one. We did get very close to the end, but it just wasn't meant to be. However, Tina, our water gym leader, did get to the final. Their color and number did get put up, but it was choose which meant they got to pick the other person to fall. And this meant Tina was the winner of the event. The last event we took part in of the night was Color Game. You stand on a color, and if it's chosen, you are out. Last one standing wins. Now, there were 4 of us at this point, so we decided to play this cheeky. Each one of us stood on a different color to increase the odds of winning. Yellow was chosen first, which meant Tina was out. Next was green, which meant C was out. Now it's just me and Mackie. We decided to stay on our colors. Green was next, then it was green again. After the greens had been called twice in a row, I switched up and joined that side. The odds seemed to be in my favor, but it was green again. Now all that's left is Mackie. The area is now just red or green. Mackie chose green, and green got called out again. Now back to our Pokemon challenge. The next gym we have to focus on is a electric type. This would mean rock and ground Pokemon would be ideal, but I do need to be careful. I think a lot of electric Pokemon have other typings, so I'm going to need a mixture of types in my team. So with that in mind, we set out to find some Pokemon, where almost instantly we came across Phanpy? Another one of these Pokemon that I can't pronounce, but another Pokemon that I wouldn't normally use, and he is kind of cute, and I do actually love his evolution. One quick throw of a Quick Ball, and he's ours. We take him home and evolve them straight away. No point in wasting time with this one. We give them the name Rollout and then random teleport to find some other goodies. We ended up on a mountainside, which is the perfect place to find rock Pokemon, and we run into a Graveler, which would have been a great addition. However, Zelda crit striked it and killed it. We continued searching when we found a Geodude. If we can't get a Graveler, we may as well start at the beginning stage. We threw a Quick Ball and catch it instantly. Just as I was about to head home, we saw a Roggenrola. Now, I don't like this dude. He's kind of weird. It's kind of boring, but it's the typing we're probably looking for. So, another Quick Ball and another Pokemon Core. We found this huge cave that went all the way underground, so I decided to take a little peek inside. It seemed to go on for absolute ever, and once we did hit land and hit the ground, a Diglett pops out. Another ground type that we could possibly use. Once again, another Quick Ball capture. Our team was looking pretty decent to be taking on an electric gym. All you have to do now is name our newly caught Pokemon. We found out today there is a warp where a few legendaries can be fished up. It's called Fish Legend. We teleported over there to have a look, and it looked like there is a chance for a Lugia or a Kyogre. 2 legendaries I like a lot. We weren't quite high enough level to get them yet, but we can see what other water Pokemon knock about here and grind some levels for fishing. We spent most of the day here, then I decided to go and explore the island a little bit. Late that night, we ran into a Slowbro level 48, which is pretty decent. I thought we might as well catch it. You never know, maybe we'll need him later down the line. He proved to be an absolute bum, but we did manage to get him in the end. Day 22 begins with us out training our team. We need to get some more levels before we're ready to take on the next gym. As we were out exploring, we came across a new village, and so began the loot raid. After a while, I needed a break, so I went to the main hub. I entered the store area, which I've actually never seen before. Inside was a look at a lot of the plushies that had been available, as well as like arm sets. Next door was the Poke Center, and in this building they had the Wonder Trade NPC. You can Wonder Trade from anywhere, but I forgot about it until I saw this dude. We did randomly catch a Diggersby the other day, so I decided to Wonder Trade him to see if we can get anything good from that. Turns out we just got a Rookie D in return. After that, it was back to the level grind. We started in the savannah area and worked our way to the beach, where we came across the tallest, biggest, longest Pokemon I've ever seen, an Alolan Exeggutor. Of course we had to fight this thing, but bro, it was so dumb just looking up at his big dumb face. So dumb in fact that I had to capture it. I kind of want one of these. I'm never going to use it, but I mean, just look at this thing. It's so dumb. Still knocking about the beach areas, I came across a shipwreck. Now, this is the first time I've seen one of these on the server, so I was wondering if there would be anything of interest inside. We explored it for a bit, and we did end up finding a box, and it was filled with goodies. However, nothing overly crazy, just your regular Pokeballs and such. We carried on training, and something crazy happened. Our very first outbreak. An outbreak is where a bunch of the same Pokemon all spawn on you. They last for a short period of time, but there is a high chance of a shiny spawning with them. This could mean we get one of our side challenges done. All we have to do is check on all the Shelmets, kill all of them that aren't shinies. So we get to work, checking high and low for any sign of shininess. I even googled to see what a shiny one of these looked like, just in case it was very similar to the original. But after 15 minutes, the outbreak finished and we never got the shiny. Feeling a bit defeated, I decided to head to the marketplace for some retail therapy. I need a trade link to evolve Jimbro into a Golem. I also need one for Sussy Hole, but I didn't know at that point. I searched all the stores until I finally came across a place that was selling, but would you believe it, they were all sold out. Still wanting to find a trade link, I decided just to search the open world and hope that we got lucky. I swear when I played this in the past, I did find one in a Pokemon Center, so I was out here looking for one of them or maybe even a village. As we were searching though, a Ninetales appeared on the minimap. Now, I do love Ninetales, the regular one as well, and for some reason it was just hiding in the entrance of the cave, which was a little weird, but you can't go wrong with just capturing it just in case we need it. So we sent out Sparky to weaken it, and after a few Ultra Balls, we did manage to capture it. Not too long after that, on top of a cliffside, I finally spotted a Pokemon Center. We made our way up there to see if there were any link cables inside. We didn't find one, but we did find an old root item. This boosts the amount of HP the holder recovers when using a HP Steal move. Ghosty has one of their moves, so this would be perfect for them. We pressed on until we reached a town. I didn't have high hopes, but we searched every box just in case there was one laying around. With no luck, we continued on, running into an Ampharos. It was around the same level as my team. I thought this would be a good chance to try a rock team versus an electric Pokemon. After seeing the damage we could deal and the fact that electric attacks don't even work on legs, I felt we should catch this dude. After a few balls, a freaking creeper just stuck up behind us and just like blew me up, blew my Pokemon. I think it scared Ampharos so much that it decided to stay in the Pokeball. We continued our travels and came across another shipwreck. This one had slightly less good loot inside. And then we ran into a Sawbuck with the cherry blossom antlers that looked really cool. Decided to fight it, not realizing this thing was strong as shit. It like wiped out nearly half my team. So with that, we had to return home to heal, and then we decided to spend the evening just doing a little bit of fishing. Day 26 was the day I found out I don't need to find or even buy a link cable. You can craft them. Crafting them wasn't exactly cheap and easy, but luckily we do have a shop on the server, so if you have the money, you can just buy the items needed to craft it. And we do have a lot of money due to killing all these Pokemon and leveling up and all that stuff. So we got all the stuff and things we needed and crafted our very own link cable. With it in hand, we whack it on Jimbro, hit him on the head with it, and it means he can now become a Golem. It wasn't long till I realized I needed another link cable to evolve Sussy Hole into its final stage. So I went to craft another one, and now we have an even bigger and better Sussy Hole. With them two finally evolved, it was time to challenge myself to the server's parkour event. The quickest time to beat this wins a $100 gift card, so why not give it a little go? We teleport there to find a maze filled with glass. I hate mazes. They frustrate me so much, and bro, I spent way too much time getting lost here. I mean, finally I started to figure out and understood what I needed to do to reach the ladder, and eventually, somehow, I made it up, climbed up there, and fell straight down. At first, I thought that was it, and I'd done it, but then why is it called parkour and not just maze? I tried to get to the ladder again, and this time I did it pretty fast, and once I climbed, I fell again. There is a hole right at the top. That's where the parkour bit actually begins. A couple more times I attempted this, but I just could not pass the jumps. I did then go and watch a couple people who had posted videos of this challenge. There was so much more to this. I would need to spend legit hours and days learning all this. And hours and days I don't have. So GG's parkour maze thing. May I never see you again. Today was all about training our team. We needed a few more levels before we'd be ready for the next gym battle. Not long into our day, we spotted a Larvitar. Now this little guy becomes a Tyranitar, a very strong and beefy boy. I've actually not seen one of these in the wild, so I thought we might as well catch it again, just in case we want to use it later on. With him in the bag, it was time to continue on the grind. On top of the hill, we found two Pokemon centers right next to each other, and inside was actually some very useful goodies. A hard rock item, which makes rock moves more powerful, and a soft sand item, which makes ground moves more powerful. That's going to be huge for our gym battle. Now, I have something really cool to show off. We teleported to a mushroom biome, which might not seem like anything, but this biome has a special type of Miltank. Now, he's covered in mushrooms. This is one of the variants this server has on certain Pokemon. Arbok, the snake dude, is also one of these where it has different patterns all on its frill. The Magikarp, for example, they all come in different types of colors. Just little things like this that make the server just feel that bit unique. So we did end up catching one of the Mushrooms cows because, like, it's just a flex. And that's when I actually found out that these dudes give decent amount of XP. So we're going to continue just grinding here for a little bit. Day 28 started with an event. We were back playing Spleef, the snow shoveling game. It was early in the day, so not many people actually attended this one, which actually meant a high chance of winning it, right? So we set off, and learning from our previous mistakes, I wasn't going to dig down. I wanted to focus on digging around so that people would have to jump across to try and get me. And this was working well. I had the corner all to myself. I was untouchable. And then I fell down a hole. I don't know what to say, boys. Even the admin hosting the event laughed at me. So embarrassing. Anyways, there was this epic fight at the end, and Naps came out victorious. We returned to the mushroom biome for some more grinding, and we were very close to being the right level for the gym. So we defeated as many mushroom cows as we could, and then at the end of the day, I needed to change the pace a little bit. So we traveled to our legendary fishing spot and then fished for the remainder of the night. I wanted to fight the gym today, so we had to do one final push to get our Pokemon up to level. Remember, level 50 is what we need. We only needed legs to reach that stage, so now it just meant knocking about and find anything that moved. With our team now ready to rumble, it was time to head back to the battle tower and take on the 4th gym. This floor was filled with everything you might expect from an electric room. Lights, more lights, and even more lights. All powered by electric Pokemon powers, I'm sure. But now it was time to face Pro, the electric gym leader. The battle began with Ghosty up against a Pikachu. A quite even match to start. Pikachu used agility that raised its speed. Ghosty used Horn Leech, which did big damage. Pikachu's Thunderbolt didn't do too much on Ghosty, and in return, we used a Branch Poke to finish it off. Ampharos was next. This was nice to see as we had actually practiced against this Pokemon a few days ago. Pro used Confuse Ray and Ghosty then hid itself in the confusion. He then used Power Gem, which Ghosty did withstand but then flinched, which means we miss a turn. Another Power Gem and Ghosty was defeated. Jimbro was up next. He should be able to tank a lot of these hits. Ampharos uses Confuse Ray and Jimbro gets confused. Lucky for us, his Earthquake gets through and one-shots him. Out next is Emolga, and I'm pretty sure this dude counts as a flyer, so ground moves might not work against it. So I choose to use a Rock Throw. Emolga barely damages me, but we hit ourselves in confusion. I tried a Magnitude, but as I expected, ground doesn't affect him. We get hit with a Quick Attack, and then Jimbro misses his attack. Finally, a Rock Throw makes it through, nearly knocking out Emolga. We get one more Rock Throw to hit, and we finally defeat him. His last Pokemon is a Luxray, the Pokemon we used in the previous round, so we know a lot about it. I switched Jimbro for legs, as I know electric attacks have no effect on us. But he does use Crunch, which does massive damage to us. We go straight for the Earthquake and take it down to 8% health. He counters with another Crunch, but legs hangs in there. We finish up with an Earth Power attack, and that's the 4th gym defeated already. Our reward for beating Pro was a level 100 Cubone with an XP share on it. This is massive. As some of you know, Cubone is my favorite Pokemon. I'm going to be keeping this guy safe forever. So now it's time to move on and prepare for the 5th gym. This one was a Grass type gym. Grass typing have a bunch of weaknesses: Flying, Bug, Fire, Ice, and Poison, so we're kind of spoiled for choice here. Before we set out to find our team, we switched up our current Pokemon. I had to keep Sparky, and I've kind of fallen in love with Ghosty. Then, I remembered we caught a Ninetales, so I added them to the team. Now, something else the server has to offer is a Safari Zone. This place is filled with different regions and hosts a bunch of rare Pokemon. Only downside is you need to pay with the in-game currency to get in, and it's also time limited. Lucky for us, we had been fighting so many wild Pokemon and we have a bunch of money now, so we were good to go. First up was the Fire Zone. We had Ninetales, but another fire Pokemon would really suit the team. We knocked about for a bit, but either the Pokemon were too low level or I just didn't fancy them. We then ran through the Water Zone and then the Dark Zone, just in case someone caught my eye. We ended up entering the Snow Zone, and I wasn't planning on getting Ice Pokemon, but something did catch my eye. A Frostlass appeared, and at a decent level as well. Now, I actually like Frostlass. A ghost ice Pokemon is a really cool typing. So we started the battle and Sparky beat them down. It took a few attempts, but we eventually caught it. We carried on searching all the zones. When we got to the electric zone, I spotted a Raichu. And in Cobblemon, its design actually looked really cool. Do we evolve our Pikachu into a Raichu? I wasn't sure if I wanted to yet. Knowing time wasn't on our side, we headed back to the fire zone, where we came across our first shiny, a level 97 Infernape. This was way too strong for our team, but we couldn't pass up this chance. Maybe we can get lucky and catch it with a quick ball. We tried our best, but it just wasn't meant to be. I was hopeful that we would find another shiny during the challenge, so it didn't bum me out too much. Just further down in the fire zone, we did come across a Charizard at a decent level. Now, I know a lot of people think this dude is overrated, and yeah, he is, but he's also still freaking awesome. And there was actually an extra incentive to catch this guy. The Halloween craze that got added had a token to transform your Charizard into a Skelly Charizard. And I'd seen pics of it and it looked fire. And I wanted this dude bad. So we throw one quick ball, boom. We have ourselves a Charizard, boys. Our time in the safari had run out. We got kicked back to spawn. Then we headed home to name our brand new Pokemon. We had Lucky, Ice Queen, and Barbecue. I love the name Barbecue. It's so good. For a sixth Pokemon, I wanted to have a variety of typing. So I thought, let's go and look for a bug Pokemon. I never use bug Pokemon in games, so this would be something completely different for me. We searched for what seemed forever, and I just could not find any bugs anywhere until we saw a Caterpie on the minimap. Problem was, I couldn't see it anywhere until I realized it was up in a tree. And then began the struggles to try and get up there and find him. He was a squirrely little bugger, but eventually I made it up, and just like that, we have a terrible level Caterpie, who we named Conceal. We knocked about for a little bit longer, where we came across an ice biome. Now this is a perfect place to get some XP for our guys. Fire was good against ice, and Sparky and Ghost are good against water. Day 32 was a training day. Level 60 was a gym cap, so we had some work to do. We slapped a share XP on Caterpie, and it wasn't long until it evolved all the way into Butterfree. After a while, I decided to take a break, and we went to go and do some fishing. Still had to get to level 100 for the chance of that legendary. Another day of just training the team. We were finding biomes that our Pokemon worked well against, when on a beach we did come across a Cubone. And like I said earlier, that is my favorite Pokemon. So of course we had to capture him. Maybe we can do 100 days with Cubone as my starter? Again, another day of just straight up training. However, the day started with us visiting a warp called the Land of Oo, which some of you may know is the land from Adventure Time, and someone had recreated Finn and Jake's treehouse. It was just awesome, man, and I just wanted to show you all what this thing looked like. I felt like I needed a little bit of a break from all the Pokemon battles, so I decided to work on the base a little bit more. The longer you play on the server, the more claim blocks you get. This meant we could expand our area and maybe have it look a little bit more like a home. So we cleared out an area in front, and I decided to make a front garden complete with a pond/pool. I wanted some water, but I wasn't really sure what I was going to use it for yet. After finishing up the front garden, I was in the zone for building, so I decided to extend our home. I just threw a little extra on the side. I just needed more space for storage. We get a lot of items for Pokemon and stuff, and I was just like running out of storage space. But with that, our home is now bigger and prettier than ever. There was one more thing we needed to add to our home, a Pokemon Ranch. This item got added into Cobblemon a few updates back, but essentially it's a way to have your Pokemon just walk about the place. It's really awesome. It took a bit of work to do and figure out how to best place it so the Pokemon was spawning like outside the house, but we got there in the end. We tried to have Zelda and Lavaduck roam, but Zelda just walked over the hedges, so it's a work in progress and something we have to fix later. But now it's time for something sick. We'd bought another round of Halloween keys. And once again, we got ourselves a bunch of goodies, including a Funko Pop, a Skelly Charizard Xbox, and we also got a token for a Witch Ninetales, which I was super excited to try out. But from buying a bunch of keys, it meant we also had enough bones to buy the Skelly Charizard skin. This was the item that I wanted the most. We got our stuff, we returned home to try it all out. First off though, Ninetales. God damn, that thing is so cool. Just like, look at the little hat and everything. Oh man, no, I love that. That's so sick. Next though, Charizard. Oh, god damn, boys. Okay, that shit's Fire Flame. That's so cool. Bro. Oh, I'm so glad I got that. I'm so glad we got a Charizard. It just looks extra mean and extra spicy now. With my team looking fancy, it was time to finish off the hedge. I didn't want all my Pokemon escaping and getting into trouble, but trouble is what we found. Turns out, Cubone is pretty much like a toddler and just kept walking into the pond. Sometimes he would get out, other times you would see him just floating there. I thought maybe he likes to swim, and I thought that he could swim, but we find out later that, yeah, he can't. Day 38 and we are back on the grind. We knocked about the area, just finding everything that we could see, and then on the minimap we saw Sparkles. A shiny Spearow was about. We found it and it was lower level than the Infinite we saw. A throw of a quick ball and boom, baby. We have a shiny. That is one of the side challenges complete, boys. We carried on our training throughout the day until late at night. We came across a desert town. It was loot time. We carried on the grind for most of the day until I felt like I needed a little break. So we headed back to our fishing spot. We were actually very close to the level 100 needed. So we fished all night, and before I knew it, our team was leveled enough for the next gym. So it's now time for our gym battle. This was the gym that I felt most confident about just due to the team that we had and the fact that grass isn't the greatest typing in the world. So we climbed the battle tower and entered the grass floor. This room might be my favorite. It passes the vibe check. Claps in chat for Maki once again. It's beautiful. Anyways, we approached Salpurse, who had some crazy eyes going on, and began our battle. Butterfree against Ludicolo. They started with a rain dance, and we tried to sleep powder them, which Ludicolo is apparently immune to. They switched out to Masquerada. Our Air Slash made contact and took them down to 26% health. Masquerada used Toxic Spikes, which meant all our Pokemon would now be poisoned. We countered with a Bug Bite to finish them off. The next Pokemon was Hydrapple. Such a cool, random dude. I tried Sleep Powder again, but once again, they were immune. We got hit with a Dragon Pulse, which hit really hard. We attacked with another Air Slash, but they finished Conceal off with a Fickle Beam. For complete shits and giggles, I sent out Sparky. We used Discharge, and even though it was a crit hit, it barely did any damage. Hydrapple used Syrup Bomb, a move that I've never heard of. Sparky used Thunderbolt, and again, barely even tickled them. And then Hydrapple used Recover. So all that damage we had done now meant nothing. We used Electro Bomb, but then we got hit with another Syrup Bomb. Next up was Ice Queen. Dragon and Grass are both weak to ice, so this should be an easy dub. We used Frost Breath, and it is a crit hit, and Hydrapple gets one shot. They sent out our Bolivia. We attack with Icy Wind, but then we get hit with a Giga Drain. This thing killed us, and it also recovered them back to full health. Now it's Barbecue's time. Flamethrower did huge damage, but they stood strong. They then used Miracle, which one-shotted Barbecue. I don't know what this move does, but that was crazy. Lucky was sent out next. They used Protect, which meant my attack wouldn't get through. But next turn, we used Flamethrower, and we defeated them. Ludicolo was their last Pokemon. We used Flamethrower again, and it hit for okay damage, but it also did burn them. They used Rain Dance, and then tried a Hydro Pump. Lucky for us, it missed. We tried a Fire Blast attack, but with the rain falling, it didn't do much damage. I knew this would be Lucky's last turn, so I decided to use a quick attack just to do a little bit of damage. And then we were hit with the Hydro Pump. We were now down to Ghosty. They used Giga Drain on us, which again meant they healed. But lucky for us, Hex did enough damage to defeat them. Our little Ghosty came in clutch then, boys. As a reward for the gym, they gave us a shiny Cubone plush. You know that's going in the house for sure. We return home, place this bad boy down. It's a lot bigger than I thought, but bro, this thing looks sick. 2 gyms left now, and the next one being Psychic and Ghost. This was the one I was worried about the most. Dark typing would probably be the best here, so we headed out to do some exploring, and almost instantly, we found an Obstagoon. I'm not sure how we actually say this one, but it's a dark type Pokemon. Problem is, I don't like it, but I thought, what the hell, we may as well catch it just in case we can't find anything better. So Barbecue kicked its butt and we finally caught it. My next idea was to head to the Nether to see if we could find any dark or spooky stuff there. Once we spawned in though, I did see the Fire Centipede dude. Now Psychic don't like bugs that much, and I thought this dude looks pretty cool, so we tried to get our way up there. And it took a lot longer than I want to admit. I was trying all different ways to get up there, but then I remembered you can fly. Now, flying on the server is a little broken. Sometimes it like bugs you out and you can get kicked, so you kind of have to use it wisely. Anyways, we managed to get up there and we fought the centipede, and good old Sparky killed it. So I'd given it some thought. I thought long and hard, and we're going to do it. We're going to use a Thunderstone on Sparky and evolve him. I had a feeling we're going to need him in the next round. And you know what? Raichu is underrated anyways. Like, just look at this chunky dude. Oh, he's so cute, man. I actually love him, especially in this Cobblemon form. But with Raichu at our side, it's time to do some fishing. So we was very, very close to level 100. And we do need some more money to go back into the Safari Zone. So we TP'd on over there. And in the middle of the night, we reached level 100. This means we now have the chance of catching the legendary Pokemon. A tiny chance, 0.08% chance, but it'd be sick if we could do it. Day 42, and we spent the whole day fishing with 0 luck with legendaries. So with the whole legendary side task, we don't actually just need to be doing fishing. Once we reach level 80, we can actually join raids where there's a chance for legends to spawn. But there are actually 3 more ways. Number 1, you can randomly have a legendary spawn on you. Number 2, you could just buy it from someone. I don't want to do that one though. Number 3 is the Wonder Trade. People actually put legends into the Wonder Trade. So I thought, let's trade this Obstagoon thing. I just wasn't vibing with him. And I thought, if I put something in the Wonder Trade that's like somewhat decent, maybe I get something back. We got a Sandslash that's... I don't mind him, but he's not great. But anyways, fishing had earned us enough to afford to go back into Safari Zone. This time we'll be spending a lot of time in the Dark Zone. First up, a level 74 Mightyena. A little over leveled, but I think this will be fine. A quick side note, the gym leader does have one Pokemon that's level 71 when the cap's 70, but we said that that's fine and that's okay to use. But anyways, we caught Mightyena pretty easy, then moved on to Absol. I love this dude. Such a like cool backstory, and he just looks really sick. I used to have one of these on my team when I first played Pokemon Sapphire, back when I was a young lad. This Absol was a low level, and it would be a grind to get it to catch up to the rest of the team, but I kind of really did want him. We then also caught a Sableye. Now, this is a Ghost and Dark type. It was the perfect level, but I was catching it more of a backup, just in case we didn't find anything else. We did also catch a level 70 Zorora, and then I spent some time in the Water Zone, and that's when we found a Blastoise, who was a complete bum. He was hiding on the top of the building in the center, and it took me a while, a few tries to get like close enough up to him where I could react to him, but finally we got there. Turns out it's just the level 12, which like Absol is going to be an absolute grind to get to level 70, but I like this dude. And a quick fun fact to everyone, Blastoise was the very first Pokemon that I got to level 100. I think I actually did it on Pokemon Fire Red. Still knocking about the Safari Zone, we caught a Bulbasaur just because. And then just as the day was about to be over, a Mawile appeared in the Fairy Zone. I might be alone here, but Mawile is such a sick Pokemon. Not really the typing we were after, but I like it. So we decided to grab that. And then our very last action of the day, we caught a level 77 Gardevoir. With a big haul of Pokemon, I now have to pick a team to level up and get ready for the gym. We have to bring Sparky and Ghosty as they're my boys. Barbecue I was going to keep for now as he just looks sick. So that left 3 spots. Mightyena, Absol, and Mawile, which we named Fluffy, Soul, and Jaws. And with that, it was time to level up again. We battled for the whole day and night, and just before the sun was about to rise, we stumbled upon a Munchlax. This little dude evolves into a Snorlax, who is an absolute monster of a Pokemon, and I would definitely have him on my final team. Unfortunately, he didn't want to go into any Pokeballs, and Sparky was just too strong to actually weaken it. Day 45, nothing happened. We just continued leveling our Pokemon, so here's a picture of my cat because it's cute. So I recorded this 100 days in the month of October, which explains obviously all the Halloween decor and Halloween keys. But something else the server did was create a whole Halloween town and Halloween event area. They dropped the update and I decided to go check the town out first. As we arrived, I saw this beautiful tree in the distance which just looked crazy. But before we got to that, there was this Pokestop, and I'm actually not sure what I'm meant to do with this. It says level 100, which I'm going to guess means I need a team of level 100s. But I'm not sure. I'm sure some of you can let me know, so next time we do this, I know what to do with that. We knocked about, checked out a bunch of the decor the town had on display, and then made our way up to the tree. Bro, this thing looks so good. I kind of want one in my house. That'd be so sick. So why is there a Halloween town? Well, the server is currently creating official Pokemon towns for the server. I believe this is the 5th one they finished. Next up, it was time to go and have a look at the Halloween event area. And this is where the special Halloween raids take place, and also where you can spend a new item called Candy. There are 3 kinds. Overworld, which you get from the regular realms, Safari, which you get from the Safari, and then the Nether and the End Candy, which, you guessed it, you get from the Nether and the End. You get candy from defeating Pokemon. It's a 25% drop rate. So we checked out some of the items, and I definitely wanted all the Cubone Reaper plushies, and they even had a skin that transformed your Cubone into Reaper form. It would be a lot of grinding. We would need to defeat a lot of Pokemon, but we're going to have to do that anyways, so this kind of falls onto our lap nicely. So it was time to set out to see how much we could gather on the first day of event. Quick side note, the drop rate for the Overworld candy was a little balked on day 1. It does get fixed later in the video, but as we were knocking about, another shiny Pokemon appeared. This one, again, very close to our home area, and it was an Abra. I love Alakazam, which means we could actually use this and have a shiny Alakazam one day. But one quick ball, and boom, 2 shinies, boys. We continued knocking about, grinding for levels, looking for candy, and at the middle of the night, an Axew. I love this little guy. This is a strong contender for a Pokemon in our final team. The next day was more of the same, just kind of levels and candies. And then day 48, again, more grinding. But this time we were chased by this little tiny thing that was chasing me, a baby zombie or something. This creeped me out. I don't know why, just a weird little baby thing running after me. Ugh, gives me the creeps. Today, something huge happened, which is going to help us for the rest of the challenge. The Safari Zone pricing was changed to help people get more Safari candy. It was now half price and double the time. This is huge. This is massive. So you can find high-level Pokemon there. So it's going to be great for grinding on the final days to get the levels. But also we can get a ton more candy there. Bro, this is huge news. We've done it, boys. We've reached the halfway stage, and we are so close to fighting the next gym. We just need to get Absol to level 70, and we can do that just by chilling in the Dark Zone, focusing on fighting all these Ghost and Psychic types. On day 51, we finally get Soul to level 70, which means it's time to fight the gym. We head home and make sure our team has all the correct moves, and we need to figure out who our starting Pokemon is going to be. We sell Onsol as I feel they are the weakest out of the lot, so they can be the guinea pig to try stuff out. So we head on over up into the Psychic room, and boy is this place creepy. This is weird noises going off, and it just felt really haunted. We make our way up to C, and we begin our fight. It's Soul against a Metagross. I didn't even know this dude was part Psychic until doing a bit of research after the video. And I made a Noob error here and hit him with a Psycho Cut, which did next to no damage. They then used Stealth Rock, which would now damage my Pokemon that gets sent out. But then we locked in and we hit him with a Night Slash. This did a lot more damage than the last move. Metagross buffed their defense with Iron Defense, and I went in for a Sucker Punch, but it didn't do much damage. We then got one-shotted by a Body Press. Next out would be Ghosty. I always thought Grass was good against Steel, but today I learned that is not the case. Metagross tried a Body Press, but lucky for us, Ghosty is immune. We use Phantom Force, which makes us invisible as we prep for our next attack. They buff their defense again, and we attack. Even though it is a super effective move, it barely scratched them. They then use Metal Claw, and we use Hex doing a little bit more damage. Another Metal Claw, and poor Ghosty just couldn't hold on. Sparky is up next. We use Discharge, and finally we beat their first Pokemon. Now we face Malamar. They raise their stats, but we get a strong Discharge off, and that's when it transforms into Hisuian Zoroark. We get hit with a Shadow Ball, and it's all over for Sparky. We try Fluffy next, but we lack the speed and get one-shotted by a Flamethrower. Let's see if Barbecue's Flamethrower can beat theirs. When we throw Barbecue out, he goes down to half health due to the stones, which is crazy. Then hit by a Flamethrower, but we do manage just to hang in there. We reply with our own Flamethrower and knock them out. Next up is Ceruledge. I tried Flame Burst, but this guy just absorbs fire attacks. It then uses Bitter Blade, and Barbecue is down. We are now left with Jaws. We used Play Rough and did somewhat okay damage, but then a Sunny Day, which means fire moves are now more powerful. I tried to finish him off with a Crunch, and that's when the server died on us all. So basically, we never actually lost. I'm pretty sure we were about to be one shot, but we didn't lose. But you know what? We'll chalk it down to a loss. We were almost defeated then. But that means we can return and have an instant rematch. So we healed our Pokemon, and now it was time for round 2. Barbecue against Metagross. One Flamethrower, and it was already nearly knocked out. They then switched to Malamar. Flamethrower hit and did a good amount of damage. We tried a Heat Wave, and they used Superpower. I thought a Flame Burst would actually finish them off here, but they managed to hang on. And then they used Rest to fully heal themselves. We just gotta hope that they don't wake up too early here. They tried to use Sleep Talk, and this move chooses a random attack against me, but it chose Rest, which meant no effect happened. We did a Heat Wave and then followed up with a Flamethrower. Now, it was time for a Slew Edge again. We used a Wing Attack, then they used a Phantom Force to go invisible. I tried a little tactical switch here, as the Ghost move shouldn't hurt too much. We get hit with a Bitter Blade, which not only does crazy damage, but also nearly fully heals them. I sent out Sparky, who hit them hard and also paralyzed them. This will prove to be huge. They used Bitter Blade again and one-shot us and pretty much fully healed. Ghosty was next and almost one-shotted that dude. So close for our little Ghosty. I tried Hex, but we weren't quick enough, and again, we're down. It was now Barbecue's turn. We landed a Wing Attack, and they couldn't move due to the Paralyze. Another Wing Attack, and we finally defeat Ceruledge. They then sent out Metagross again? This time it's full health, and I was so confused. I swear we nearly killed this thing. Did it heal inside a Pokeball or something? We got hit with a Hyper Voice, but hung in there barely. Then attacked with Flamethrower and defeated it. Turns out it was the Zoroark disguised as the Metagross. Makes more sense now. This now meant the real Metagross with next to no health was all they had left. A quick Flamethrower, and finally we won the battle. As a reward, we were given a bag, and inside was a bunch of goodies, including fossils. This is something I need to take home and look at even further. After spending some time on Google and looking into the fossil stuff, I found out that I need to head to the resource realm. This was a realm on the server that resets every few weeks, but it's filled with dig sites where you can find fossils. I headed on in and started my search, this time using Barbecue to fly around to locate these areas. The areas we're looking for tend to stick out quite a bit, and it didn't take too long until I found something I thought would be able to dig and use my brush on, but there was just no fossils in here. Finally, though, we found what we were looking for. This is a prime example of a dig site. So we chipped away at some of the sand. Anything that didn't look like sand is what we used our brush on. We managed to get a bunch of items, and eventually we got our first fossil. Now it's time to head home and expand our home area. We're going to need some extra space to add our fossil machines. Now, with the base finished, it's time to build the fossil machines. We bought most of the things we needed and got them crafted. But when I placed the machines, it didn't work first time. It has to be in this exact order. Once that was sorted though, we placed the fossil inside the machine and added a Max Revive. You can use any organic item, but according to Google, Max Revive is the best thing to actually use. We found out the fossil's going to take a little bit of time to finish, so I decided it's time to start looking towards our final gym, the Fire Gym. This one should be more or less straightforward. Water, rock, and ground Pokemon. We had a look at what Pokemon we already caught for this gym, and I think we're going to add Blastoise to the team. He's a crazy low level, but we have plenty of time to get him to level 80. We randomly teleported in search for other Pokemon, and we reached a desert, and there was a little Sandile chilling. It's a ground Pokemon, and he kind of looked cute as shit, just knocking about. I think we may have found a ground typing for the gym. We caught him and named him Erwin. Next up, we grabbed our boat and head into the water. I had an idea. Wooper. This little guy is water ground, so that's almost perfect. And I've seen these knocking about everywhere. It took us no time at all. Another low-level Pokemon, but again, we have time. On day 56, we headed back into the Safari Zone. We need a Pokemon to replace Barbecue for this gym. Now, I do love Barbecue, but I just don't think he's going to be useful for us here. And yeah, I know we still have Ghosty, but Ghosty and Sparky are going to be staying with us for the rest of the challenge. We headed straight into the water area to see what was on offer to us, and we found a Totodile. Now, some of you may know, but he is actually my favorite starter, so we snagged him, and his team was looking pretty solid. Now, it was time to level up whilst we're here. We continued to use Sparky to absolutely destroy the whole water region. When nightfall arrived, we came across the weirdest little guy I'd have ever seen. It was a tiny, red, sad-looking Corsola. I think this was one of the Cobblemon Islands variants. He looked so lonely and sad that I just had to catch him. Hopefully, he'll be happier living with me. Leveling was going great, and Erwin evolved into his final form. He looked like an absolute boost. As we were swapping things around, I actually spotted the Pokemon Champion. They just so happened to be chilling in the Safari Zone as well. Maki threw out her level 100 Appleton, one of her favorite Pokemon, who is a dragon type, so I'm guessing that is something we're going to be fighting on day 100. We seem to be in the Safari Zone longer than the time limit, as nearly 2 days had passed, but we stuck with it as the candies were just flowing and the levels were going good. Finally though, it did kick us out and we returned home. It's now time to evolve our other guys. Derp evolved into the Quagsire and Splash all the way to Feraligatr. And also, Blastoise has a name. Say hello to Bash. Today, our fossil had finally finished doing its business. It was so cool seeing this Pokemon in the tube, almost like Mewtwo in the first movie. We grabbed it with a Pokeball and had a little look at him. He's so cute. Look at this little Omanyte thing. I was looking through the other fossils that we won when we defeated C and saw we had a Jaw fossil. I'm pretty sure this is the T-Rex dude, and according to Google, yes, Tyrant comes from that. And you know what? That typing is a ground dragon. That could be used for this gym, and it's a freaking T-Rex. We whack it in the machine, feed it a max revive. Now we've just got to wait for it all over again. With that cooking up, it's time to go fishing. We spent the entire day today just fishing, getting money, getting levels, getting candies, and getting ever so closer to that legendary. On day 61, we went back to check on our fossil. He was still a little blob, so still more time was needed. We then went back to check on how many candies we're going to need for the Cubone stuff, and we weren't too far away, so we headed back into the overworld to grind a little bit more. Today, they added a new Gengar Beetlejuice collection. Bro, this shit is so fire. I love that this server just has constant updates and events and just shit like this. I would have hands down bought this if I had a Gengar on my team, but right now, we don't. Maybe someone else will come up for our team. So we spent the afternoon just leveling our team, and when we got home, our T-Rex was ready to hatch. The best part of this is you choose what ball to put it in. So we went for the love ball because it makes a heart around it when you throw it out, and I just thought that looked hilarious. Anyway, here he is, Rexy, the newest member of the team. We replaced Splash as I felt like this guy would be a better fit for the gym. Level 1 though, this is going to be a tough grind. Again, I could have used rare candies or XP candies, but I really wanted to do this without doing that, make it more of a challenge. Otherwise, we'd have probably finished this whole thing by now. Day 63 and the server added something new. Dragon statues. I had to buy these. They looked so sick, and look how cool they look in our garden. We had a Dragonite, a Garchomp, a Goodra, the Salamence, and a Dragapult. We also got some tokens that would make our Pokemon look like them statues. I'll be saving them and I'll play around with them in my spare time. With the decor looking fire, we headed back to the Safari whilst it was still cheap and so I could get some more candies and levels. That was going great until our very first raid appeared. A raid is a boss-like Pokemon where you work with the server to defeating it. Depending on how much damage you do, you can get some good loot and even catch that Pokemon. The more damage you do, the more Pokeballs you get and the better quality. You can only use Pokemon level 80 and above. And as right now, we have Sparky and Ghost. We were up against a Mega X boss Charizard. Ghosty might not stand a chance, but I'm sure Sparky will do just fine. Mega Raids seem to be very popular, as there were loads of people here to fight it. The Charizard appeared, and it went about as well as you would imagine. Luckily, there were a healing spot around, so if you lose, you go heal, you join back in. We just had to keep doing damage to it. With so many people taking part, it finally fell. We ranked 60th. We barely did any damage, but we did try. And we did get 10 Pokeballs to try and catch a Charizard. Unfortunately for us, Sparky's discharge killed it in one shot. Way to go, Sparky, once again. A little upset about the Charizard, we went back to the Safari to continue our training, and within about 5 minutes, a Mega Gyarados raid appeared. Well, this should be one Sparky can handle pretty easy, so we went in and joined. This one went slightly better and we managed to place 38. But even better than that, we got a Halloween raid pass. These are rare drops for taking parts in raids and could be sold at a high price, or you can use them to take part in the special raids. But anyways, after defeating it, the Gyarados appeared, and I'm not 100% sure what happened. He broke out the ball and then just disappeared. All I could think of is it used a damage recoil move sort of thing. I don't know, man. It didn't show anything in the bottom right of what happened. Almost within seconds after that raid, the Halloween raid started. We were going to be taking on a special, I can't pronounce this thing, Yveltal. We were nowhere near ready for this, but we helped as much as we could. We placed 22nd place, which I'm sure is last place, but we did manage to get a whole 5 candies. It didn't seem worth it, but I did later find out that you have a chance of getting a Mewtwo or a Lugia shard. If you get 4 of them, you can then turn your Mewtwo or Lugia into a Shadow one. That seems pretty cool. Back to the Safari Zone for a little time we had left. Once this is done, we headed to the overworld for some more candy hunting. But before that, Rexy is ready to evolve. Bro, look how sick it is to be chilling on the top of a dinosaur. Today was the day that I found something out. The end. I had no idea this place existed. When I read the candies were never and the end candy, I thought the end was like a nickname for the candy. It wasn't until I saw a portal in the main hub that's how I found this place. It was pretty spooky in here, but the Pokemon were like high, decent level, so we could come here and gain a decent amount of XP, and they drop a lot of end candy. This seemed a perfect place to do some training. We ended the day by trying another Pokéden. It was at level 100 unknown. It wasn't overly easy, but between Erwin, Rexy, Derp, and Bash, we got the job done. Our first Pokéden win. Completing these gives a bunch of random items, revives, berries, XP candy, shards, and some decent amount of XP. We were still knocking about in the end. It was pretty chill here, and we'll get into all the goodies. And then another Pokéden spawned on us. This time, it was a Gothita, can't pronounce that one either. As we were battling, a wild Espeon sat and watched us. We scraped through the battle with Erwin being the last remaining Pokemon. And then Espeon just started following us. Level 78, that's pretty huge. So we decided we'll try and catch it, threw the quick ball, and first time we caught it. This Espeon's going to come in huge later on in the challenge. Day 68 and we returned to the Safari for more training. Later in the day, we had a Mega Blastoise appear, and with more of our team at level 80, we decided to head on over to it. There was a decent amount of people there, and we defeated it in under 2 minutes. We did have a problem though. It didn't rank us at all, and we didn't get any items or even a chance to catch it. I'm guessing this was just a random bug, but that really did suck for us as we just wasted a bunch of time that we could have used in the Safari. With that though, we head back and we ran into this little guy. It was a Voltorb, but he was a different Pokeball design. Again, another really cool variant. This is something they should do in real Pokemon. Finally, we had enough Safari candy to buy our Cubone plush. I can't wait to see how this looks. I also took a look at the GTS, which is a place that you can sell, buy items, and also Pokemon. That's when I found 2 items. A Skeleton Blastoise token and a Cursed Phantom token. I wanted both of these, but I couldn't afford both. I needed to make a decision on which one I wanted. So I flipped a coin and it landed on the Blastoise skin. Lucky for us, we have a bunch of money from all this training because this bad boy cost like $500,000. We got home and whacked the Cubone plush down. This thing was 1000% worth all the grinding. This is also what the Cubone Halloween skin looks like, so we need to keep an eye out for that. Next up was the Skelly Blastoise. This thing was badass. I'm so glad we got this. These Halloween Skelly skins, they're just so good. Anyways, we headed back to the end to finish the grind, couple more levels, and we'll be ready for that gym. The final gym was upon us. We climbed the tower and entered the fire floor. Fire and lava were everywhere. We had to be careful. We need to watch our step here. We approached Larfin and began our battle. First, it was Sparky versus Skeleridge, another Pokemon I can't pronounce. We attack with Discharge and they follow up with a Hyper Voice. Next, we use Thunderbolt and take them down to quarter health. They react with an Incinerate and hit us hard. Lucky for us, we have the speed and we get to attack first and finish them off. Houndoom is out next. Again, with the speed, we get to go first and attack with Electro Ball. A Fire Fang gets through and finishes off Sparky. We send Erwin out and hit him with an Earthquake, which makes quick work of Houndoom. Larfin then sends out Armarouge, the other version of Ceruledge. This I didn't like the look of. We go with a Crunch Attack and then tank a Flame Charge. They follow up with a Nightshade and that makes us flinch. They then used Astonish and it legit did next to no damage. But Irwin's Mud Slap also does next to no damage. We get hit with another Flame Charge, but hang in there. And then we finish him off with an Outrage attack. The last Pokemon is Scovillain, a grass fire type. I have fought these whilst training, and they always give me a challenge. It uses Razor Leaf and knocks Irwin out. I send out Bash to give him a run. We attack with Flash Cannon and then get hit hard with a Razor Leaf. Again, we use Flash Cannon and they miss with their Razor Leaf. One more Flash Cannon, and then instead of using Razor Leaf, they use Sunny Day. They hit us with Bite, and by accident, I chose Water Pulse. It actually did way more damage than I thought it would. To finish the battle, we sent out our big boy Rexy. They attack us with Razor Leaf, but then we finish him off with a Crunch, and that's a dub, boys. All 7 gyms defeated, and as a reward, 2 Master Balls. Hopefully, we can use them for them legendaries. To celebrate the win, we go and do some fishing. We're now over level 100, we have Master Balls, we're ready for this legend. Day 71 started with us catching a Scorbunny who was just chilling outside our house. I won't be using it, but it is something we could maybe sell at some point if we do need any monies. But it was time to think about the team we want to use for our final battle. The final battle is a bigger one. It's going to be 6v6, but they are limited to Fairy, Dark, and Dragon type Pokemon. Now, we could catch a team to counter all of that, but I decided to pick a team of just my favorite Pokemon from the challenge so far. So we're going to be using Sparky, Ghosty, Bash, Barbecue, and Rexy. And we're going to leave a spot open for the legendary if we manage to get one. We have just 30 days to accomplish that. Barbecue needs leveling, so we set out to get that done when a raid appeared. This was a Ursaluna. We would switch our team to take on these raids as we needed a full team of 80s. We did well on the fight and we did get this thing down to 1% health, but we could never actually fully kill it. We do manage to win the raid and we do get another Halloween raid pass. And 7 balls to try and catch it seems doable. 2 balls later and we have our first raid catch. Today we decided to head back to the resource realm. This time I was just there for candy hunting. There was still an issue with the overworld candy just not really working, but in the resource realm it was working just fine. We knocked about there all day and then our third shiny appeared. A little shiny Burmite. Not a shiny I'm ever going to be using, but obviously I'm not going to turn that down. I did actually forget to record it, but we did add on one of the duplicate tokens we got on the GTS the other day. And today, someone bought it for 300,000 Pokecoins. This is much needed as we needed the extra cash to go back to the safari later on. Fishing was on the agenda for day 73 and 4. Again, I needed a break from all the fighting and fishing, so we decided to improve the base some more. We needed to remove the pond. Cubone may or may not have fallen in there again and may or may not have passed out / fainted. So we need to make the base a bit more Cubone friendly. My idea was to add an upstairs with a pool and then just fill in the pool down there with just like dirt and stuff. We bought all the blocks from the shop and got to work. And we did get most of the building done today, but I still needed to add some more little finishing touches and decor. A lot of finishing touches got added. We also added a balcony of some sorts and the base was almost done. Just a few more bits and pieces. We finally finished our home and it was actually looking really good now. It's come a very long way since the little patch of dirt and bits of wood. But now it's time to head back into the resource realm. This is where something weird was about to happen. An underwater shelter filled with just many signs. It seemed to be a place to leave a message if you ever visited. So we just added our own. We just put our date and our name. We continued searching this strange place and downstairs in some sort of underwater cave was a man dressed as a Pikachu. This was really creepy. I said hi, but then we left him and headed back to some solid ground. Towards the end of the day, a Paradox Great Tusk raid appeared. We took part in it and placed 15th. We got another Halloween pass and 7 balls to catch it. Only took us 4 balls, but we managed to get it, boys. Day 78 and still chilling in the resource realm. We were this close to having enough candy for the Reaper Cubone bone skin, so we just had to press on that little bit more. On day 79, we finally had enough candy and we bought the Cubone skin. We took it home and used it on Cubone. He had fully recovered from his time falling in the pond. Bro, this skin might be my favorite. I just love the way it looks, the hood, the little bag and just everything. God, I wish I could have him on my team. Again, maybe if we do another one of these, we can have a Reaper Cubone as our starter. You'll have to let me know if you want that to happen. Next candies I was aiming to grind for were the end candies. 1,000 would get us this crazy fire Rapidash armor. So we headed over there and began the grind. We started today with a Halloween raid. We took part and did damage, but at the end of it, we didn't actually get any reward. I did ask the chat and they said you need to do a certain amount of damage to get any sort of reward. I thought we did enough, but I guess not. Anyways, it's time to fish this legendary. We only have 20 days to catch this dude. Remember, 0.08 chance. It's not good odds, but we can do it. We were still fishing when something huge happened. A Mewtwo raid. This was massive. If we defeat it, we have a chance to catch it. This could be a chance to get a legendary Pokemon. This is a really rare raid, and as you can tell, as like half the server was here to take part, this was the biggest turnout I've ever seen at a raid. So, Mewtwo appears and we all go to town on it. We needed to use our whole team and we needed to do as much damage as we could. Mewtwo is defeated and we place 49, which isn't actually that bad, as there are a lot of us here. We get 7 balls, 7 chances to catch it. We send out Ghosty and use Horn Leech. Mewtwo then used Barrier twice, so now its defense is getting really high. This was actually good for us, as it meant we could attack it without fear of hurting it too much. But that's when things turn bad. Its defense is max, and we do around 10% damage to its health. But Mewtwo, for some reason, uses Swap Guard, which I believe switches mine and his defense. So when I attack, it kills him because he has such low defense. He has Ghosty's defense, which is next to nothing. That was our one and only chance to catch a Mewtwo, and it's just gone because of a stupid move it used. This bummed me out massively. I should have tried to catch it instead of trying to weaken it more. With the Mewtwo incident hanging over my head, I went back to fishing to just chill out. We also had to start prepping in case we don't actually catch a legend. So I looked through the Pokemon we'd caught and Espeon caught my eye. We don't have any psychic Pokemon on our team, and I do love Espeon. So we added them to the team, we whacked on an XP share, and we got to fishing. Day 83 was spent just knocking about the Safari Zone with nothing happening, so again, here's a picture of my cat. We moved on to the end zone today, still grinding them candies when a Halloween raid appeared. Now we still do have 1 spare pass, so I thought we'll try it again, see if we can do enough damage and get some rewards. Our team is definitely a lot stronger than last time we tried this. We placed 11th this time, and we did get 5 candies. Nothing too crazy, but it's still stuff. The next day, we returned to do some more fishing. Unfortunately, still no luck at getting these legends. We needed a bit of a chill day, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. So the server has these daily and weekly trainers, NPC trainers that you can fight. They are all level 100, but I thought, hey, let's give it a try. We found this clown dude called Chucky in the Halloween area, and he had a Regigigas as his first Pokemon. We defeated that, but next up was a Calyrex. This thing wiped my whole team. As we were in the Halloween zone, we bought some more Halloween decorations to add to the house, and then we decided to check out another official server town. This was Frostpoint City. We knocked about and came across another trainer. This guy wasn't using legendaries, but he did have some crazy strong Pokemon. Another battle that we lost. But now at least I know what I'm in for. Just before heading home, we decided to go into the Poke Center, and this is where we witnessed Kenny. Bruh, I've seen it all. We start today by defeating a Pokéden that spawned right outside our house. Then we got told the community goal was about to hit. So we TP'd to the spawn and sat there and waited for the goal. As we were waiting, a Tyranitar raid showed up. We weren't doing anything, so I thought, let's go and join it. This dude was an absolute tank, and we were barely even making a dent in it. People started giving up, which meant that the health bar was going down even slower, and it got to a point where it was just going to be impossible to defeat it within the time limit, so we had to give up as well. We headed back to the spawn, and finally the comm goal hit, and we got all of our keys. We opened a bunch of crates, including some plushie crates, and we got a whole bunch of new plushies to add to our base. Day 88 started with us looking at the GTS, and guess what was for sale? Another Phantom Skin token. And this time we had enough money for it. So we snagged it and right away we went to try it on. It gave Ghosty a little more full Halloween style vibes and it just looked really cool. I'm sure if we evolved him, it would have looked even better, but that's not going to happen. With Ghosty looking the part now, it was time to go ham and do some fish grinding. We spent the last couple days fishing with no luck on the legendaries. We didn't really have much time left to fish, as we now need to focus on getting our team to level 100 and ready for the final battle. I said to myself that I would fish until the end of day 90 and then focus on the team. Ghosty had been used mostly for defeating all the fish, which meant we had a bunch of XP and they were the first Pokemon to reach level 100. On day 91, we started by heading to the safari. We were focusing on Sparky first, so we went to the water zone. We were kicking butt when we stumbled upon another shiny. This was a shiny Dewott, and this was huge. I feel people would pay a very high price for this. And then not long after catching that, an event happened. It was a free-for-all PvP event again, and of course we were going to take part and try and win something good. I tried to play it safe. My plan was to last till the last few, then go ham, but I got sucked into way too many fights and got defeated pretty quickly. But that was okay, because there was a Mega Charizard raid starting. I believe you can actually get Mega Stones from doing this, and it would be sick to have a Mega Pokemon by the end of this challenge. We joined the raid, but the thing got killed in 39 seconds. I don't think it even had time to register my damage, because we didn't get anything from this, or even a chance to capture it. Today we had another event. This one, I actually had no clue what I was doing. I think the leaves fall and then pop back up. So like you've got to set traps for other people. Anyways, I didn't last long on this one, but that's okay. We needed to head back to the safari and focus on barbecue. Today was a Rexy day. We ventured to the end as Rexy could pretty much one-shot everything living here. Not only did we get level and tons of candy, but we also did 2 Pokemon dens. First was a little alien dude, and the second was a rare unknown. Day 94 was a Blastoise day. Back to the safari for this one. Still on the grind, we were almost ready for our final battle. We had a raid pop up. Just a little lot bunny one, but it should be pretty easy. This was probably the smallest turnout I've seen, but we had enough to complete it. We placed 16th, and again, 7 Pokeballs to catch it. We lowered its health, threw a couple Pokeballs, but it just didn't want to be caught, and then it did something stupid. It used the move High Jump Kick, and it unalived itself. Ugh, bruh. Sparky needed some more levels, and I kind of wanted to try maybe one last time to get this legend. It's like that meme when the dude is digging for diamond. I felt like we were so close, and if I gave up now, we would never get one. So we fished all day, but unfortunately, nothing. We started today with a Hisuian Goodra raid. This was probably our best raid to date. 15th place, 5 Pokeballs, 5 Great Balls, and 1 Ultra Ball to catch it. We also got another Halloween raid pass. We weakened it with Sparky and used the Ultra Ball to catch it. We then got told they were doing another free-for-all PvP event, and the winner gets a legendary Pokemon voucher. This gives you a random legendary Pokemon. Could this be our chance? We have to take this one serious. I did honestly try my best, but I just don't think I'm cut out for Minecraft PvP. Oh, we really did try though. The whole of day 98 was spent in the safari again, getting them last few levels. At this rate, we might be able to fit in one final day of fishing. We did it, boys. Our team are all level 100. This meant we could indeed finish up with one last chance at fishing. How crazy would it be to catch one on the final days? We fished and fished and fished and fished, but nothing. I really thought with the amount of times we've been fishing on this challenge, we would have caught one. But I guess it just wasn't meant to be. Day 100, boys. Our team are all level 100. The Pokemon champion is ready, but we have one last chance here. Just as me and Mackie were about to get into a call, a Groudon raid appeared. Bro, I swear you can't make this shit up. We had been given one final chance to get a legend. We rushed on over and prepared ourselves. With a team of 100, we were going to be kicking butt this time. I was fully confident, but also super nervous. We managed to defeat the boss and place 53rd. We didn't do as much damage as I thought, and we only got 7 balls to try and catch it. It's now or never, boys. Ghosty used Horn Leech and took it down to 21% health. I couldn't afford to hit it again, so now it's time to try and catch it. Ball 1 failed. Ball 2, almost. It then used Rest to heal, but it also is asleep now, which is good when trying to catch a Pokemon. Ball 3, it's literally just teasing us now. Ball 4 failed. It wakes up and Ball 5 is no good. It rests again. Ball 6, no. We are now down to one final try. It's now or never. And it breaks out. Man, we were so close. Well, it's now time for the final Pokemon battle. We will climb this tower for the very last time to face the Pokemon champion. We have our team ready. Sparky, Ghosty, Bash, Barbecue, Rexy, and Wizard. We climb through all the floors until we reach the very top. It's pink. Oh, so pink. I wouldn't expect anything less from Mackie. We meet in the middle, and so the final battle begins. Bash versus Sylveon. We start with a Water Pulse, and Sylveon hits us with a Moonblast. I try a Flash Cannon, which is super effective. In return, Sylveon uses Draining Kiss and heals a little bit. We go for another Flash Cannon, and this time Mackie used another Moonblast. This one was going to be close, boys. One more Flash Cannon, and we just don't quite knock it out. Sylveon finishes us off with a Draining Kiss. Next up is Sparky. A quick Thunderbolt and we win the battle. Mackie's next Pokemon is Hatterena. Sparky hits a powerful Discharge and then eats up a Psybeam. We go for another Discharge and knock out Hatterena. Mackie sends out Mabostiff. Can't pronounce this one. I risk an attack and go for Thunder, but it misses. Mackie uses Lick, but Sparky hands in there. We go for a Discharge and do big damage. Mackie uses Crunch, but Sparky just cannot hang on anymore. It's now Barbecue's turn. We go for a Flamethrower and get the dub. Houndoom is next. Not really able to use fire, we're going to be using the Wing Attack. Houndoom responds with Beat Up, and we go for Wing Attack again and almost knock him out. We get hit with a Foul Play, but Barbecue finishes Houndoom off. Next up is Mackie's signature Pokemon, Appleton. One more Wing Attack from Barbecue, and then Appleton hits us with a Dragon Pulse. Barbecue just hangs in there. I decide to switch out to Ghosty here, give Barbecue a little rest. Ghosty tanks an Acid. We then use Phantom Force to go invisible, which means Appleton misses. And then we appear and attack, but we don't quite knock them out. We get hit with a Dragon Pulse, and then we faint. Next up is Rexy. A quick Dragon Claw, and it's bye-bye Appleton. Mackie's final Pokemon is a Dragonite. We almost one-shotted them with Dragon Claw. Mackie uses Hurricane, but it wasn't very effective against our ground typing. Rexy hits itself with Confusion and then also gets hit with a Dragon Rush, and that's the end of them. Last but not least, it's Wizard, the Pokemon that was a last-minute pick due to us missing out on all the legends. Wizard uses Sidekick, and we win. We beat Mackie, the Pokemon champion. As a victory pose, I whack Barbecue on my head. Not sure if this is a feature or a bug, but for some reason, Charizard can sit on your shoulder / well, head, I guess. And then as a reward for winning, we are given 2 Pokemon. A Mr. Rhyme and a Purple Magikarp. Not really sure how I feel about these rewards. Mr. Rhyme is just awful and dumb, and I just don't want him to look at me anymore. Purple Magikarp is pretty cool, though. And that's it, boys. Our 100 days challenge has come to an end. We beat all 7 gym leaders and the Pokemon champion. We caught a handful of shinies, and we did try our best at catching the legendary. I have to say, I had so much fun recording this. I loved creating my Pokemon teams and building up my home. That thing is kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie. In terms of our final team, I can't think of any changes I would have made. Sparky, who was with us from the start of the journey, did so well. Ghosty, who I just fell in love with, even though it was still a child Pokemon, he really did come in useful. He would have packed more of a punch if we evolved him, but the small noises he makes is just so cute. Barbecue with his skin was just so fire. Charizard is cool, but the skin made him 100% better. Bash, again with the skeleton skin, made him fire. And I've always loved Blastoise. Rexy, our giant dinosaur, we brought him back to life, leveled him up all the way from level 1. And then Wizard, who wasn't even with us long, but without them, I don't know how we would have fared in the final battle. So before we go, I want to thank my wife, Maki. She built the battle tower and spent so much time on it, so claps in chat for her. I also want to thank Wolf, Yuma, Team Pro, Salpa, C, Larfin for taking part and playing as the gym leaders. They all did awesome. And finally, thank you Cobblemont Islands, #1 for sponsoring the video, also for hosting such a fun server. It was a lot of fun. I cannot wait to do another one of these. If you guys want to play on here, all the info will be in the description down below. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I will catch you all in a bit. Bye.